Attraction is not built through effort, not through gifts, not through compliments, not through constant availability. A woman does not become drawn to a man because he tries hard. She becomes drawn to a man because she feels something powerful when he is present. Most men chase, they perform, they over-explain, they try to prove their worth, and in doing so, they lose the very thing that creates real magnetism, a sense of self that cannot be shaken. Stoic men understand this. A Stoic man does not rush to impress. He does not beg for approval. He does not alter himself to be chosen. He stands. He observes. He speaks slowly, acts deliberately, and lets the world adjust to him. His value is not loud. It is not advertised. It is felt. You must understand this deeply. A woman becomes addicted to the man who does not need her admiration to feel whole, who does not collapse under silence, who does not chase when attention fades, who remains grounded, centered, and focused. Because that kind of man is rare, and rarity is irresistible. So the question is not, how do I make her like me? The real question is, can I remain myself even when I want her? If you can hold your frame in the presence of desire, you become unforgettable. Now that we understand what attraction truly comes from, let's look at the first behavior that creates that magnetic pull she can't ignore, the behavior that sparks curiosity and begins obsession. Predictability is the death of attraction. When she knows exactly when you'll text, when she knows you'll always answer on the first ring, when she knows your mood, your schedule, your availability, there is no spark left to ignite. Human beings do not crave what feels guaranteed. We crave what feels earned. We crave what feels not fully ours. This is where unpredictable presence becomes powerful. It does not mean playing games. It does not mean ignoring her on purpose. It does not mean emotional manipulation. It means this: sometimes you are fully there, present, focused, eyes locked, listening deeply, making her feel seen in a way most men never do. But other times, you disappear into your mission, your training, your work, your discipline, your purpose, not to punish, not to provoke, but because your life is bigger than hers. A Stoic man does not orbit a woman. He orbits his principles. One day, you sit with her and the world feels quiet. She feels chosen. She feels important. The next day, she wonders, where is he now? What is he building? Why do I feel his absence? That curiosity is what begins attachment, because she realizes your presence is a gift, not a habit. It is earned, not expected. And the more she wonders about you, the more she thinks of you. The more she thinks of you, the deeper her emotional investment grows. A man who is always available is a man who is easily forgotten. A man who is sometimes out of reach is a man who lives inside her mind. Now let's move to the second behavior, the one that builds respect, not just attraction. The behavior that separates you from every man who worships her. Most men lose a woman's interest because they try too hard to please her. They agree with everything she says. They avoid conflict. They laugh at jokes that aren't funny. They nod along even when they disagree. They think that being nice makes them more lovable. But being agreeable does not inspire attraction. It inspires boredom. A woman does not want a man who bends. She wants a man who stands. This is the emotional challenge. It means you are not afraid to say, I don't see it that way, or I think you can do better, or no, that crosses a boundary for me. Not with anger, not with ego, but with calm certainty. When she gets emotional, dramatic, or impulsive, you do not match that energy. You stay still, grounded, unmoved. You tease instead of react. You question instead of collapse. You show that you are not intimidated by her emotions. And the moment she sees that her respect for you grows. Because deep down, a woman does not want to lead the emotional tone. She wants to feel safe in the presence of a man who can hold it, a man who is not controlled by her approval, a man who has standards, a man who is not afraid to walk away if those standards are violated. This creates a powerful dynamic. She begins to earn your respect, not receive it automatically. Not because she is beautiful, but because her character aligns with yours. And when your approval becomes something she must rise to meet, it becomes valuable. Next, we move into the behavior that binds her to you on a deeper level. Not attraction, not respect, but emotional intimacy. Most men misunderstand vulnerability. They think vulnerability means pouring out every fear, sharing every wound, revealing every insecurity. They believe this will create closeness, but that is not vulnerability. That is emotional dependence. And emotional dependence does not attract a woman. It burdens her. True vulnerability is different. Controlled vulnerability is strength paired with honesty. It is the ability to say, "I've been hurt before, but I learned from it. I grew from it." It is the ability to let her see your depth without asking her to fix it, without seeking her validation, without making her responsible for your healing. You are still the mountain, steady, grounded, unmoved. But once in a while, you show her the path through the trees, the weathered stone, the places the wind has touched. Those moments feel earned, rare, special. She begins to understand something powerful. Your strength is real, but it was forged. Your calm is real, but it was earned. She feels honored, not burdened, invited, not overwhelmed, connected, not responsible. This is the kind of vulnerability that makes a woman feel chosen, not because you need her, but because you trust her enough to let her see who you truly are. And that feeling of being trusted, seen, and included is addictive, because now she is not just attracted to your presence, she is emotionally invested in your journey. Now we move into something deeper, because once she feels connected to your inner world, she begins to attach emotionally, and that attachment changes everything. When a woman feels emotionally connected to a man, something profound happens inside her. Her nervous system begins to rest around him, not because he talks the loudest, not because he fills every silence, but because his presence communicates, "You are." Most men misunderstand vulnerability. They believe it means spilling everything, telling every wound, every insecurity, every fear. But that is not vulnerability. That is emotional dumping, and it doesn't create attraction. It creates a burden. Controlled vulnerability is different. It is strength with an open door, not a flood. It sounds like this: "I've been through difficult things. I've felt pain, but I remained steady. I learned from it, and I'm still moving." You reveal just enough to show depth, just enough to show humanity, just enough to let her feel that you are real, not perfect, not invincible, but centered. When you share your story without seeking validation, she feels something rare, trust, because you're not asking her to fix you. You're simply letting her see where your fire was forged. And women become deeply connected to the man who lets them witness, not rescue. Here's the mindset: you do not share to be understood. You share because you are already grounded. Your past is not a wound, it is your training. The Stoics taught this clearly. They said a man should carry his scars with composure, not hide them, not bleed with them, but own them. So when you speak about your journey, speak with calm clarity, not sadness, not desperation, just truth. This is what makes her feel chosen, not because you needed her, but because you allowed her to see you. And once she has seen the real you, the authentic, steady, unshaken core, she will crave that closeness again and again. Now we move to the next chapter, where all of this begins to transform into something deeper: genuine respect. Respect is the foundation, not love, not passion, not chemistry. Those things rise and fall like waves, but respect is the shoreline, the thing that remains. A woman can be attracted to you, she can desire you, she can admire your presence and your voice and your confidence, but if she does not respect you, everything collapses. Here is where most men fail. They try to be loved more than they try to be respected. They soften themselves. They bend their boundaries. They silence their truth. They shapeshift to avoid conflict. They think that if they are agreeable, pleasant, always available, the relationship will last. But human psychology, especially in romance, does not work that way. When you abandon your own center, she loses the instinct to trust your leadership. When you ignore your own needs, she stops believing in your strength. When you put her above your purpose, she begins to drift away, even if she still cares. The Stoics understood this perfectly. A man's dignity is not something to negotiate. It is something to protect quietly. Respect begins with self-respect. You keep your word to yourself. You show discipline even when no one is watching. You pursue your purpose consistently. You walk away when something violates your principles. Not loudly, not dramatically, but with composure. Because respect is not earned through force. It is earned through how you live. And when a woman sees that you are a man who does not betray himself, she feels safe with you. She feels inspired by you. She feels drawn to you, not because you demanded respect, but because your life commands it. Now, the final chapter draws everything together. The truth every man must carry long after the relationship ends. The world respects the man who respects himself. This is the truth few men dare to embrace. You cannot create real connection by bending yourself. You cannot earn love by sacrificing your dignity. You cannot inspire her by chasing her approval. The man who becomes unforgettable is the one who remains anchored, the one who lives a life of purpose, integrity, and quiet strength, the one whose presence is earned, not given. Remember, unpredictability, emotional challenge, controlled vulnerability, and unwavering respect. These are not tricks. They are the pillars of a life that commands attention and devotion. So step into your own power, refine your character, protect your standards, build a life so full, so rich, that your presence is a gift she cannot ignore. If you carry this path, not for manipulation but for truth, she will seek you out. She will be drawn to your energy. She will respect and cherish the man who stands firm and unshakable. Subscribe now to join this journey. Like this video if it challenged your perspective. Comment "Addicted" if you are ready to embody these truths. Become the man whose depth inspires, whose presence captivates, whose life radiates strength. Stand strong, live fully, and let the right hearts find their way to you.